As of this video recording, I have not read any of your questions. One of the fun things about a question box service is that I don't know what you're going to ask before I read the question. So I'll print them out Sunday morning and be surprised. But in this kind of service, there's always one or two questions around how did you decide to become a minister? What made you want to be a minister? Where did you get the idea to be a minister? So I thought I would answer that question right up front. There are actually several different ways to answer that question, but one of them is, first I was a poet. And I remember telling my mom when I was in grad school for poetry that she said, "Why do you want to write poetry?" And I said, because I believe that there is a truth that is deeper and more universal than all the things we say and do and think as individuals. And I want to touch that. And poetry is how I touch that. And then when I decided to become a minister, it was for the exact same reason. I feel like there is something in the world that is greater than anything any one of us can do. So in preparation for this service, I went and got out my master's thesis. They give it to you in a bound book. And I was looking through my poetry, and wow, was I already ready to be a minister. I thought I'd read you a couple today. If a Phoenician fleet of bent wood boats with linen sails could in 3 years circumnavigate the Cape of Africa, surely we can venture back there to the Cambrian explosion, the hordes of trilobites, our cousin the starfish. But we didn't come from starfish. With our minds in our hands, we began to talk, shaded under a tree 3,000 years older than Jesus. Here we tear the temple fabric, peer in on the biological holiest of holies, the protein, the nucleotide, the atom, and beyond into the space outside us, to the middle of Orion's belt, a stellar nursery cloud, light years across. Here we do not speak our words. There are 3 ways to kill a star. Nothing can stop its collapse, the returning of light beams to a death no size at all. We, born in a gas cloud, maturing as a yellow sun, have eaten 3 hearts the size of planets, and climbed ladders, broken windows, found Pluto. What will we trade for the hours of our lives? A bushel of ions, radiation, and flares? We promise to hike the hills of Mars, as wide as Arizona, and 3 times taller than Everest. We will wander more stars than there are dollars in our pockets, and like Eratosthenes, measure roundness with shadows, with obelisks miles apart. I'd like to believe there's a God that created the Bible code, because a Bible code makes sense. A matrix of skipped letters, the ultimate intersection. It's random, yet confined, like this chrysalis hanging from my front porch rail. A God who leaves a fingerprint across the pages of a scroll written by so many people may impress. But isn't it petty? As though he couldn't let go, couldn't resist that final touch to make everything his own. The chrysalis confirms we're smart enough to read God's handwriting. But a God who leaves clues is by definition no God at all. These days, it's the mystery we crave, pounding through us like a second heart.